Anastasiia, right? So she's going to talk through how do we measure customer value. So kind of take one and go deep. Would love to invite. She goes by Nastia or Anastasiia. So I'll hand over the topic to you.
Thank you so much, Fibo. Let me share my screen. So yes, I will continue the topic presented by Vibu. Yes, but it will be mainly focusing on the measuring customer value. The next slide, I will quickly introduce myself, just to let you know. I'm currently in Turkey, yes, but I'm originally from Ukraine, and I spent around 10 years of my life in Iraq, in the Middle East and Jordan. And currently I'm working remotely for the French organization, and we're supporting the leading nonprofit organization and some of the companies like UNICEF, MSF. And we're supporting currently web digital products. It's Africa, Latin America, and the Middle East. So I'm really glad to be here. Just a little of myself. In Turkey, I'm really enjoying learning languages. Just the sixth language already. And I feel like I'm fluent, but it's what it is. You can now know language, culture a bit better. And I'm really enjoying the living in Turkey and exploring the beautiful nature. I hope you can see it because it's my evening. It's what I just took picture for you, so you can see how beautiful this country are. So coming back to the discovery metrics. So yes, I have just only one question before I start. Have you faced any problem really measuring customer value in your product you're working and choosing the right metrics? You can, I don't know, raise your hand in the Zoom. We can see the full potential of Zoom. It's like actually, yes, you know, I'm not only the one who actually facing this problem in my product owner journey. Thank you, Tom. It's just kind of difficult to choose the right metric. It was already presented by Vibu. The lists are huge. The list of the metrics itself, and for example, for measuring user experience, that kind of popular framework. One of the heart I will be presenting today is North Star and the Pirate metrics. They're great, but what is kind of unique about the heart metric, because it's not only focusing on engagement growth, and it's really on the user experience. And some of you already use the heart. Maybe you can raise your hand if you already use a heart framework in your current project, or no? It's just completely new because I cannot see everyone. So, okay, it's an interesting topic. So I will start with the introduction. I will tell you how I use currently for one of the project, the heart framework, what was actually the benefits and what the challenges I see in that framework. So let's go to the next one. I see it's kind of popular framework. Let me just share my screen here so you can see me. It's easy to remember, you know, and just like a part, the first letter of each main component, and the first one is about the happiness. Okay, it's everything about the satisfaction. How users feel about the project in general, yes, and the user design, usability. The next one is engagement. So if you're asking the question, how often the user, yes, coming back to your product, so this is one of the key about the engagement in general, and you're trying to follow the pattern. Adoption, yes, and how many people, as we're talking about the new project, how many people then they come to the onboarding process and they became a regular users, they actually start to use your project. The R about the retention, how many people of them they coming back to your product, yes. They not only see how many they engage at the beginning, but actually how many of users they coming back to your product. And one, and not the most, not least the important one is task success. It's everything about the efficiency, performance, how easy your user can actually achieve the goal in task. So it's really quick, presentation of the heart metric, and I'm sure you love it. Maybe after the presentation, So I will start in general. How you start to use this metric? There is the three components. The main one, it's the goals, signals, and metrics. So usually it's kind of the table I presented here. But what's worth to mention, so you don't need to focus on all 5 elements I just presented to you. For example, when you're on step 1, you identify the goals. Yes, what is your product strategy? What you're trying to achieve? It's really important to understand what is your user segment. What is mentioned by Vibu? Where is your product life cycle? Yes, where you are currently. What you're trying to achieve? You're trying to attract new users, or it's more important for you to engagement for the existing one. and not try to put a lot of these goals. Just really narrow down until 3. It will be enough. Otherwise, it will be really hard to follow. What we're currently facing, one of the projects I'm using the HEART framework. So we understand not all of these 5 components, and it's really important for us. And we were moving to enhance solution. We're trying to improve task success. There was a lot of problem with the performance and achieving the task. So it was really complicated, but we're trying to really focus how easy this application to use. So our key was really task success. Then we say, okay, it's really important engagement because we want to steal the current user, and adoption just try to give more onboarding one. So don't think that you need to really come up and take goals for each of these sections. In case if you can, yes, but it's not mandatory. The next step, when you're identifying the goals, and it's one of the time-consuming one from my experience, it's a signal. So where you find these metrics, where you can find the data. So actually you need to collect data. Yes, you need to present data. You need to have, I don't know, any visualization. You need to be sure that the goals you have, they actually met. So that it could be any kind of visualization. We usually use the Power BI, but it depends on the product and the project. And then the second one, this is the metrics, yes, to track the signals. So for example, number of users using the product over a specific period of time. And just to be sure, like the good metrics, sometimes, and what I see during the experience, yes, it's hard to read some of the metrics. So it kind of make it much simpler. It's better because it needs to be easy to understand. It's comparative. Yeah, it could be ratio. So you can monitoring monthly, and depends on the settings of your product and the project, yes, and behavior changing. So when you look at the metrics on a monthly basis, you actually know where you're going. Are you going to the right track, and what potential needs to be changed? I hope it's okay. I'm not too fast. No? Yeah, I hope so. Yes. So if you have any questions, yes, let's make a bit of a dialogue. So when you're looking on the Google Heart metric, I like the idea not following really the trend, like start from the happiness one. I like to follow the user flow. Yes, when we have a new product, and we start with adoption. Yes, so like actually the user see the value, they start to download the application, they start to sign up. So we want to start with that one. Yes, it could be number. It's just an example. Yes, what I see could be downloading, sign up, as already mentioned. I just added in the blue one some of the examples. Yes, for example, you want to increase the percentage, any percentage, depends on your product strategy, the number of people using the product after launching a new feature, for example. After the adoption, if we're following the user flow, it will be task success. So definitely a user need to sign up with the key or complete the reservation, or they need to do something to be sure that they can start to feel what your product is actually doing. Yeah. Completing task efficiently, user make less error. What happened currently during my current project I'm working for the last 2 years, the product owner, like task success, we use a lot. Like we try to decrease number of steps, like achieving some of the goals. It could take 15 steps and huge amount of time. We've really decreased, like it should take 5 minutes, not more than 5 minutes. So it's really trying to follow on the task success. But again, it's really depends on the product you're working, yes. I put an example, I like a booking one. For example, user should be able to finish the reservation in average time of 2 minutes, yes. And they can start to follow the product. If we go to the next one, yes, it's engagement. Oh, you have a question, Tom? Yes, please.
Yeah, Anastasiia, how you doing? So
I'm good.
I actually kind of want to go back a little bit because I'm looking at this and it seems really well thought out. But my first question, like if you go back to the there were 3 different methods, right? They have like the Google Heart, the Pirate, and what was the other?
Yeah, this one.
Okay, North Star, right? Okay, so I guess, and I don't want to get really, really off track, but I'm interested to know, like, how would you go about deciding what type of framework to use? I mean, is it based on the industry? Is it based on the product? I don't have a lot of experience with this, so I'm interested in how you would even begin. I mean, it seems like the Google Heart is really cool, but I mean, how would you go there? Is it just for internet-related products? That's what I'm interested in.
Oh, it's really interesting question because actually it was one of my problems as well. It's not only about the metrics; it's list of all this metric you see in the internet and everywhere. What is great about North Star metric and the Parrot metric, and we use some of them, but I'm not fully experienced on that. Yes, it's like more engagement and growth of the product, but not really fully focused on the design, on user experience. For example, Heart, it was designed by the Google, yes, in 2010, if I remember. And they really want to see that it's customer centric. So that's why it gives you more value if you use, like, in case if you really want to measure value, to use a Heart. But again, you don't need to use a Heart. You can use a Heart only for one of the feature, yes? And you can mix up with other framework. So this is what I'm planning to share with you. Yes, so like Heart, it just gives you to focus and really on the goal, the customer to the value. But doesn't mean you don't need to use the North Star and the Pirate metrics, which I think it would be nice to share because of the topic of the conversation today.
Oh, that's awesome.
But again, yes, I hope I answer your question.
Oh, you did. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Yeah, because you find it's just looking, it's overlap. Yes, you just ever see the categories overlap somewhere in the revenue, somewhere customer growth, somewhere user experience, referral. But if you just look in the main categories in the Heart metrics, you definitely see it's all about the user. Not only how they're happy about, but how they use it currently, how they achieve all the tasks they need. But really user-centric, I would say, compared to the rest. Yeah.
Groovy.
Thank you so much for the question. I really like it. So just coming back, because we already discussed adoption path success, it's all about the user-centric. So you really want to see the full picture. Yes, sometimes happiness, it's not really enough information just to see how the customer really think and how they feel about the product in general. So Heart metrics just give you an opportunity to see from different angles. This is, I would say, the main idea. And engagement one, if I can continue. Do you have a question, Tom? Or just your hand is raised? No? Do you have? No? Yeah? Okay, great.
Sorry.
So coming back to the engagement one, so you have adoption. They downloading your application. They already do sign up. They start to following. So you really know, following the time, yes, and different metrics, how do they really engage with your products? Yes, because you need kind of a statistics analysis on that. And you can check how much time they spend in your application. Yes, how often they engage. Again, the example could be different. If you work in the game industry, I think it would be kind of different. You would like maybe to use them on an everyday basis. But if you're talking about the fintechs and broadcasting or any other application, my case, it could be like once in a week. It's a kind of a good metrics. Yes, and that's it. Or maybe 2 times per week. So it depends on the products and the settings, I would say. So user must access the product every day for 1 hour, and you see how this flow is changed from month to month. Do you really achieve this or not? The next one about the retention. Do they really stay active in your application? Maybe they really like it at the beginning, yes, when they start to use it, but definitely something goes wrong, and you lost majority of your user after a couple of months. So you can use a different metric. Or do they renew subscription? Do they really see the value after some period of time and the loyal to your application? For example, from the example, reduce percent the number of people who stop using the product. It's most popular one and could be adapted in a bit different way. And the last one, it's about the happiness. Yes, when you just follow, I really like the idea of following the user flow, but you can do it in any other ways. So the happiness when they're using after some time, you see what is the positive feedback. Yes, like average rating of the application, recommendation. Do they really recommend the application to other? Statistics we use currently in my organization, like monthly one. Yes, we really try to follow on the monthly, and we use it all the statistics not only for the UX, yes, like user experience. It's kind of product owner, UX. It's everyone on some place, which is easy to plan and see what kind of features needs to be improved. Because if you don't have a data, maybe it's my next slide what the value I see for the project, because I'm using, yes, if I say like I'm using this project, I'm still continuing to using one, but it's not on a fully scale. Yes, I don't use them. I really focus on some major task, engagement, adoption. Retention, we still have it, but we're really like not prioritizing this. It's easy if you use this hard framework, but again, it could take some time to set up, yes, to find proper statistics, to have a proper visualization. And again, it's easy to communicate with the stakeholders, with the teams, because you have a data and you can prove it. You have a goals and you see the process and how this process is flowing from time to time. But again, we don't have many. We really stick to 2 and 3 goals, the one I just presented you at the beginning. And then it could be changing adaptive, so it's not like stick forever. And it helps you identify crucial patterns. For example, I understand that some of the tasks it's really difficult to achieve. They really don't want to use application for that. That's why engagement is down. So we need to do something with the task success. Yes, we need to do the tasks they really want to achieve and the crucial for them. This is our main focus. And that's why it's correlated. Yes, you see some improvements in any other metrics in that case. But just a quick example. You can see if it's a new application, you don't have any data. Sometimes it's in a case like it's really blank. You have just a target. You want to onboard some users, and you want at least 85% of them they were on board. Like you're blind spot a bit, especially if you don't have the data. But once you have it, it's just easy to follow on that. But you can see like it's adopted really well, and you can see correlation a bit, but not fully on all the scales, but at least. And it helps you identify specific elements. For example, if we're talking about the fintechs, the number of transactions, I think it's really important for them, yes. Or if we're talking on the booking, the number of reservation made or anywhere. So you see what is actually impact it makes in your project. And if we're talking about the business, yes, like revenue, the company. So if you see the user really engaging some specific task you're choosing as the key, maybe you will focus a bit on them to make them easy and more accessible. And the one Storm is asking, yes, it's more the hard metric. Yeah, you can use only the hard metric, but definitely in the real world, it's really hard. You really need some kind of extra framework used with that. But it's really user-centric and it's used for the whole team, not like really focus on the user designer. And some of the pros, I noticed like it's really hard to choose, especially at the beginning, the right metrics and methods. So you try to be goals. Yes, what is the goal? Just asking the proper questions. What you really need to achieve. Try to make it simple. Otherwise, it's a lot of biases. Like it could be conflicting goals. Yes, the one just sharing with you, like conflicting signals. So not try to do so. It can be challenging to collect and analyze the data. So, you know, it's reliable, it's clear, like how clear the data you really can rely on it presented during the meetings. And it can be hard to balance, I would say, like you have a quantitative, it's easy, but qualitative aspect. Yes, you have insight, story. So you need kind of cooperate and see how it's going to the product. And again, it depends on the size of the company you're working in, the size of the project. You definitely use a different frameworks. And what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to use some maybe specific feature. I don't need to use it for whole project, but I'm really thinking for this specific feature, if it's kind of a big one, I would like to apply the hard framework in that particular case. But it doesn't mean I don't need to use any other methodologies because they're great as well. Depends on the questions you're asking. So yeah, I think that's it on my side. Maybe just if you have any questions, if you find it, have questions on.
I do. I thought it was interesting what you just said, the very end of your talk about, you know, using a specific framework for a specific feature. And then that made me start to immediately think, well, is this something that most product owners should be doing, or is this more in the product manager realm?
I think it's more, it depends on the size, maybe. I cannot answer that question But usually it's intersection. In our case, it's my responsibility. I definitely have a project manager, yes, which I'm working directly. But if I see it's really needed, I need to prove it. Yes, definitely. Depends on the flexibility, autonomy in the company. Yes, so say, let's try it. Let's see the value. And sometimes when you can see, okay, works really good for that particular feature, for that project, it's kind of easier to discuss it further. So let me try to think through how it could be done for any other products we're working on.
That's cool. Okay.
Yeah, so
In my
it sounds
particular
like
case.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah.
No, I was gonna say
I
I
just
agree with that approach, right? As Agilists, we try to find the methodology that fits our team and our organizations the best. So why wouldn't we try to do the same thing in product, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say, like its goals are really different. For any that doesn't matter, you work in the same company, but you're working in different products, and you will say this framework really works really great, but does it mean it's working for any other product? This is what I'm facing a lot, and I think you need to try and see how it works. At least for the, like it's easy for me to convince not for the whole product, but at least for the feature, I think it's really important.
Awesome. Well, with that, I want to thank Anastasiia for this session. I know you've been busy, and thank you for preparing for it and coming and presenting to us. Right?